about you, but for me, more often than not, when I talk about lack, I'm referring to money, financial lack. There are other types of lack of choices, lack of strength, lack of will, lack of commitment, lack of freedom, lack of courage, just to name a few. And when you get stuck in lack, you're also often stuck in fear as well. And I had this pointed out to me recently, although I think the two go together often. But the more you think about how you lack whatever it is, right? You can't have whatever, you don't have whatever. You go down the rabbit hole of victimhood and you give away your power to whatever circumstance you face. And you believe your hands are tied, but they aren't. Maybe your thoughts are tied in knots, but you can reach for something different. You can take back your power and make new choices. And first and foremost, you can focus on the fact that you're free to do these things, right? Now, I am no stranger to this feeling of having my hands tied due to some sort of lack or due to my fear, my focus on my fear. And this was became very clear to me just this past week. I realized I was perpetuating a belief in and a feeling of lack with the people I hire. I seem to have this belief or this story that I don't have enough money to hire the best or to have choices and pay for the best. I end up, therefore, with less than the best, or at the very least, feeling I have no one else to hire. And that's just not true. That's just not true. But this is where I found myself stuck. I had hired someone to do some work around the house. I didn't know who else to hire. I knew he had some issues. He'd worked here before, but he needed some work, and I agreed to have him do the job. But he left us with a mess and a less than perfect work. And I felt like I was trying to appease him at every turn, even though I felt like I was being wronged and that he was in the wrong. Okay. Maybe that's need to be right or some judgment, but I was always trying to appease him and make him happy because I was afraid that he'd walk out and leave the job undone. So anyway, this particular experience got me thinking about my so-called team, which has dwindled to one person. And I often feel my hands are tied there too, because there's so much this person manages for me. He knows my sites, and I'm not sure that I can find someone who knows or has all the programs that we use that I can actually afford to hire and that is going to be as good at it as he is. And then what happens is I get angry and frustrated, and I'm waiting on things I need to increase my business and income. And, I could do some of this work myself, or I could relearn or learn how to do it, but it's not really the best use of my time. And I'm not as good at it as he is, or someone else might be. I also have a social media person. I started thinking about this, that I pay very little for her services. She does a really good job when she's working, but she's been AWOL for a few months. And I kind of feel my hands are tied because I don't think I can afford to hire someone else. Social media people, just like website people, can be quite expensive. And I don't want to do the work myself, although I can, and I have been while she's been gone. So I really felt like I had some sort of blind spot around my issues of lack when it came to the people I hire. And I asked the coaching team of the program that I'm in to give me feedback. And first, before I even did that, I really looked at the fact that there are always choices and that I was feeling like there were none. And so I chose to ask my neighbors for a different contractor to do the remaining work, and decided never to use the contractor I had ever again. And that felt amazing and so freeing. And I could feel the ropes around my wrists loosening a little bit. And I began toying around with the idea of finding out what would cost to hire an overseas VA, a virtual assistant. Used to have one or two, and maybe to have them do some of what my social media person and my team does for me. So I also did, in terms of having choice and standing in my power, I did email my team and say, here are my options. We'll see what comes of that. But I took some action. I was also looking at all of this and seeing that I've handled a recent project of mine by going to someone free for feedback rather than someone that I might pay. And this person's pretty good at what they do, but still, I could have gone somewhere else. So anyway, back to my coaches. So I asked the coaching team to give me some support and say, what are my blind spots? What am I missing? And it was pointed out to me that I was operating from a place where I had no power. And that again, that I was operating not only from lack, but from fear. And this feeling of having my hands tied was me feeling like I had no power and no freedom, which makes me a victim of my circumstances. And so, it's hard to operate from this place of being a victim for sure. So she asked me if I was fully responsible for my business and the outcomes I'm working towards, even with the contractors in my home, would I keep being this way, a victim, or would I take steps to change it and figure it out and make new choices? And of course, yes, I would. So I'd ask you the same thing. If you're feeling like your hands are tied or you're a victim of any kind of circumstances, what would it be like if you were fully responsible for yourself, for your business, for your outcomes, right? Would you keep being the way you're being, feeling like your hands are tied, or would you take steps to change something and figure it out? Would you find new options? And the other thing she asked me was where was my focus? And not only did I get that I was operating from a place of no power and being a victim of my circumstances, that I was operating from fear and lack. I also did realize that my focus was in the wrong place, right? I was focused on all the things that could go wrong, not having enough money, all of that, right? And that isn't helpful. So I needed to change my focus to what is possible. Okay, so the first thing I did was I started to stand on my personal power and freedom and consider new choices or make them, okay, despite any fear. The second thing I did was to change my focus to what is possible rather than what isn't possible, because my focus was on lack and inability to find good, affordable help and lack of money, and it's been on fear of not having enough, not being able to afford help, not getting what I need, not finding help. And when you're in that place, you're focused on that. And you're going to create all the emotions that go with that. And it's a spiral of lack and fear rather than possibility and choice. Funny thing is, my membership program right now, the Inspired Creator Community, the members and I we're focused on personal freedom. Brendan Burchard's certified high performance coaching curriculum on this topic of personal freedom. And that always brings up personal power issues as well. So, I guess it's bringing up my own stuff to look at the same time. So this coach also asked me, reminded me about the power of words and intention. And so that's really the third thing I've been doing. So the first one, as I said, was to stand in my power and freedom and consider new choices. The second was to change focus. And the third was to really remember the power of my words and my intention. So I think even though I really know that, I habitually forget. And so for me, I really had to turn to, okay, I'm going to ask the universe for what I need and want. I'm going to intend that I will create what I want and need. And so that's been, the things I've been focused on the most. And I'm trying to remember what she told me, my coach told me, is that as long as I create from fear, I'm going to have no personal power. And it's impossible to create from that place, right? So my biggest takeaways from all of this were that I have to manage I need to always remember that I have personal power and personal freedom, and I have choice, and I can use that. I can make choices, that I have control of my mind, so I can change my focus to possibilities, and that also I can use my words and my intention to create what I want. And when I do that, the universe will support me, will help me create what I desire. So that's what's been going on for me this week. And so I thought I'd share. And I thought I'd share some of the wisdom from my coaches as well. And those coaches are in the transformational coaching program. So shout out to Coach Eichel. And yeah, so if you're struggling with this kind of lack and fear around, not being able to hire the people that you need to support you, then I hope that this video was useful to you. So as always, I try to share what's going on with me, to pull back the curtain and to tell you what I'm learning. I teach what I need to learn. I share from a belief that I am an every woman, meaning that I'm not that different than you. Might just be a step or two ahead. And it's my duty to teach you what I'm learning. So there you have it for today. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video, or if you're struggling with the same kind of focus on lack or fear, and if my tips are helpful to you. And if you have questions and I can support you through coaching, leave those questions and comments down below as well. And of course, like my video and subscribe if you haven't already. So if you don't know me, I'm Amir, the Inspiration to Creation Coach. I am a certified high performance coach and a transformational coach. I call myself a transformational catalyst. And I like to help people get from where they are to where they want to go, and to be the person that they want to be, so that they can do the things that help them create what they want and desire. And so if that's of interest to you, then click on the link above for the Inspired Creator Community. That's where I offer group certified high performance coaching and transformational coaching, so personal and spiritual growth and spiritual trainings. And I would love to support you there as a member and as your coach. So click on the link above, and I hope to see you in the Inspired Creator Community. Until next time, go out and achieve more inspired results.